Hello, Melanie.
Hi, Randy. How you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. Are you?
Yeah, fine, thanks.
Good, good,
Apart
good.
from the weirdness of the lectionary, what are they doing again?
You mean our jumping around, missing out
Well,
chapter 13?
well, we've got most of 13 or all of 13 missing.
Yeah.
And then we've got this chunk out of today's passage. What's going on?
And do you notice? Well, maybe I don't know whether you did or you didn't notice, but that's really sad that they missed that out because that's a really structural bit that they struck out. Because in if you include the bit that they miss out, if that makes sense, you get Jesus asking three questions and highlighting the three things that stop people coming to know him, um, stop people entering his kingdom. So you get the first question, which is that sort of legal one. Can you see your bondage? You then get the second one. If any one of you has a child or an ox that falls into a well, sort of to do with compassion. And then the one that we'll be dealing with, can you see your pride? The third question. Or, those people who keep rules think religion's about keeping rules. Those people who think, secondly, those people who think religion is about looking good. Um, those people who think that religion is about being picky. They're the people who are kept. These things keep you out of the kingdom. But the lectionary writers, by missing that section out, they miss out points one and two, and you just get point three. And I was sort of wondering why, because isn't that a great 3 point sermon?
Yeah, I think they're just trying to simplify matters. They've decided that this passage is all about sort of humility and good works, that they sort of think, oh, well, the good works bit at the top is a bit superfluous, so we don't really need that. When it's about something else.
I may be a tad more cynical. They don't want vicars preaching, oh, you won't get into heaven if you just keep the rules, i.e., make sure you receive your communion every week and you get baptized and you are confirmed and you wear your Sunday best,
Of course,
all
it was
looking
it.
good.
It wasn't that they. It wasn't that you're not supposed to keep the rules. It's that you're not supposed to put man-made rules before compassion and before what God wants, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Isn't it? But let's start at the beginning, shall we? So they do keep for us verse 1.
they do.
So we discover Jesus going to the house of a leader of the Pharisees to
Which,
have a Sabbath meal.
yeah, which sets it immediately in context, doesn't it? Really provocative. Or as the NIV puts it, one Sabbath when Jesus went to eat in the house of a prominent Pharisee. And the NIV sort of emphasizes that it takes place on the Sabbath when you should be keeping the rules. You don't do this, you don't do that, you don't do the other on the Sabbath, according to Pharisaic teaching. And then don't you love that little phrase that comes immediately after what you just said? He was being carefully watched.
They were watching him
Whoa,
closely.
tension mounting.
Yeah, because you
Yeah,
get the sense this isn't a, oh, let's just watch Jesus. He might do something lovely, is it? This is
yeah,
a, let's watch Jesus for him to do something that we consider to be wrong, isn't it? Or,
yeah.
you know, not
And so
according to
then
our roles.
so Jesus almost goes on the attack with the three questions we get in chapter 14, verses 1 to 14. He's attacking them. That's really interesting to see as well.
It's not out of the blue, is it? Because this man with dropsy, do you think he's just casually there? You're in this guy's house, right? Judging by the sort of the latter part of the passage we've got, chances are he's got all his highfalutin mates at this Sabbath dinner. Or
Yeah,
just by accident, you've got this man with dropsy pops up.
yeah.
I don't buy it, do you?
Ah,
No, I think he's a stooge. I think
plant.
the Pharisees have put him there to see what Jesus will do. So Jesus isn't really attacking as such. I don't think. I wouldn't describe it as that anyway. But he's actually saying, all right, you've laid this in front of me now. I'm going to use this to teach you. You're trying to
Hmm.
put me on the spot. I'm actually going to put that back to you, and you're going to be on the spot. But what's going to be nice is the man who drops is going to be healed. And that's what's really important.
And of course, verse 4, they have no answer to it.
No,
So
they've
they
got no answer.
remain silent. But
And just
anyway,
go back
yes,
to the very
sorry.
beginning. I love the fact that Jesus don't really care who he's having dinner with, does he?
No,
He has dinner with the tax collectors and the sinners, and he has dinner with these Pharisees as well, because you get the picture that this isn't a Nicodemusy Pharisee, is it? This is a like opponent Pharisee, and he's still gone
yeah,
to dinner with him.
yeah,
Jesus goes where there's opportunity to teach about the Father and about what he's come to do, doesn't
yeah,
he?
yeah.
Then he takes this extra chance to talk to them about humility. It's quite interesting. We were talking about humility last time, weren't we?
We were, weren't we? And I've got another Dale Ralph Davis story on this. Do you want to
It's not
hear
about
it?
dog poo again, is it?
Pardon?
It's not about dog poo again, is it?
No, no, it's about Vickers.
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 Oh dear.
How
Can't be any
bad,
good then.
though, how bad we can be at this. Okay, anyway, you ready?
No one.
So this is a story of about J.D. Phillips, the Bible translator. So Brown knew that one of Phillips's problems was shame at the unacceptable conceit revealed by his inner thoughts. Phillips was told he should jot down these thoughts. One of his entries in May 1945 read, I want to be colossal or soon die. Christianity is a bore unless it helps me demonstrate my uniqueness. I really haven't any interest in others unless they are connected with building up my reputation. My reputation, that's the thing. The best vicar ever. And Philip and Dale Ralph Davis goes on, really, really interesting because he's probably one of the leading contemporary Bible commentators. He Dale Ralph Davis sort of goes to the third person and he says, "This is stark and perhaps shocking. We try to evade such candor, but I have to say I understand that perfectly. Pardon the grammar, but it is both mad and me. It is well with my soul to see how unwell my soul is." I just thought how amazingly honest from someone like Dale Ralph Davis that even he has the same problem that we're going to get in verses 7 onwards about our own pride. And he wants to be, or J.B. Phillips wanted to be the greatest vicar. We now know him as one of the greatest Bible translators. Dale Ralph Davis, someone, those of us who are, shall we say, aren't as academic as he is, view him as one of the greatest commentators. And yet they struggle with this. And we're just sat there going, yeah, yeah, you're the greatest. You're the greatest. I will listen to you.
Yeah, I suppose it's harder though, maybe if you are gifted like that, because he's a gifted speaker. I've heard him speak at Keswick, and
Uh-huh.
he's a gifted speaker as well. And it must be, sometimes, I have those thoughts and think, wouldn't it be lovely to speak at Keswick? You think, imagine him on the stage and everybody's like hanging on his every word, and it must be wonderful to speak at Keswick, have all those people listening and knowing that you're helping them. And this is, it's all tied, it's all mixed up, isn't it? I think the whole sort of how you view that sort of stuff. And then part of me thinks, so that would be terrible because that would actually make you proud because you're doing it and you might start to get above yourself. I think that's what's happened in some of these big churches, where the where
Yeah.
the where the vicar or the minister has started abusing people or things have gone wrong. I think that sense of pride in what they're doing has taken over, and they've started to think that they're gods, and that is the danger if you're successful in worldly terms. So I suppose just like we shouldn't wish for riches because they can have a bigger negative effect than being poor can. Maybe we shouldn't seek that sort of gifting because there's a danger that we could fall to our own pride.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And even, I mean, just not even thinking of sort of the big names, JB Phillips, Dale, Ralph Davis, but just ourselves in our own ministry. We want to be the best, or we want to be highly thought of, whatever our particular interest is. I want to be the best Bible commentator or Bible student in the church in Wales or whatever. Don't laugh. I know I'm second to you, but apart from you, I want to be the best.
Yeah, but it is the I'm constantly wrestling with that though. When you're praying for you're doing an event, you're putting a family service on, or you launch your messy church, or stuff like that. I'm using those examples because those are examples from my own ministry, and you're launching it, and I do find there's a tension within my own heart
Yeah,
because you want it to be a success for Jesus. You
yeah,
want the children and the mums and the grannies and the dads to come to know Jesus because you know what a difference Jesus makes to you. So you genuinely want that, but there's a bit of you that also wants it to be a success so that your ministry looks like a success,
yeah, yeah,
especially when you're getting lots of opposition for other things. You want to
yeah,
say, look, this is a success because I'm teaching the gospel. And it's not quite the right motivation, is it?
yeah, 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 yeah. So we're all guilty of it, and we're all susceptible to it.
Mm.
All of us.
Which is why Jesus does this clear teaching. That's why he's had it recorded for us. Because if it was only meant for them Pharisees, it wouldn't have been recorded in our scriptures, would it? Because if
Yeah,
we believe that the Holy Spirit is also the author of scripture, well, then he's put the bits in that all of us need to know.
yeah. Have you got
But
a J.C. Ryle quote?
no, it's not JC Rowell. I've got a quote from Buck today, just
Excellent.
just to sort of explain because um, some people could say about this parable, or it's not even a parable, is it? Just this bit of advice about where you sit in a banquet. Some people could say, oh well, oh, Jesus is telling people just to be kind of worldly so that you get your acclaim, but it's not
Hmm.
about that, is it? And I think Buck puts it nicely. He says, Jesus' point is not that we should connive to receive greater honour. Rather, he's saying that honour is not to be seized, it is awarded. Jesus is not against giving honour to one who deserves it, but he's against the use of power and prestige for self aggrandizement. God honours the humble, and the highway of humility leads to the gate of heaven.
Yes. And that picks up verse 11, especially because I think the verb tenses are really important in verse 11. They're something we can easily skip over as we just quickly read it, because the tense of will be humbled, will be exalted is called a divine passive. So it's something that God does to us. So if you're going to exalt yourself, God's going to humble you. You humble yourself, God's going to exalt you. God does the humbling, God does the exalting.
Mm.
Let's not make ourselves little gods in a way, which is what we could be in danger of doing.
Absolutely. But it is challenging. It's so challenging because all of us, I'm sure all of us struggle with this
Yeah,
at some deep point within our psyche
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because we're
yeah,
human.
yeah,
But then he moves it on, doesn't he? He gives a bit more dinner dinner party advice.
yeah. And I, I, I was reading this and I was thinking, what it would have been like to have been that house. Then Jesus said to the house, you'd be like, "Bleh." That would get you straight in the stomach, wouldn't it?
Well, only if you actually believe Jesus to be who he claimed to be. If you just thought he was some sort of mad rabbi who was a bit off the mark, I suppose it wouldn't bother you. It'd be bouncing off, wouldn't it? Water off a duck's back.
Maybe, maybe.
But it's interesting advice, isn't it? Because so what, not inviting your friends and your relatives and your rich neighbours to a dinner. And the reason is in case they might invite you in return. And he says to
Yeah.
invite the poor and so forth. You'll be blessed because they cannot repay you. And that's the
Yeah.
key to this, isn't it? Because
Our motivation.
humility, sorry?
Our motivation.
Yeah, well, 'cause humility is linked to generosity, I think. And I think this is also about generosity. And it struck me when I was reading it about um Christian giving. And
Yeah.
when we give, it should be to give back to the Lord, not because we think we're going to get something back for it, which is one of the reasons I don't like raffles. Now, I don't like
Hmm.
raffles because I don't like gambling. I've seen what gambling can do to people, and I
Yeah.
really don't like it. But some people say, well, it's not really gambling, it's just a little bit fun, and we raise some money. It's like, well, fine. I don't tell people they can't do it. I'm not that hard line. But it's not Christian giving because Christian giving gives without expecting any return. When you buy a
Hmm.
raffle ticket, you're hoping you're going to win that hamper or that bottle of wine or whatever it is you've got your eye on. Christian giving should be without return, at least without earthly return, because God blesses heartfelt giving.
And let's be honest, it'd be cheaper and you get better quality if you just nip down Booze Buster and bought it for yourself.
Well, I suppose it depends how many raffle tickets you bought.
Well, yeah.
Just bought one strip for £1 or whatever it is you're allowed to do now. I don't think you're allowed to buy a strip, are you, anymore? But anyway,
I don't
whatever.
know.
But
I
the
don't
rules
know.
are on raffles. Please don't criticise me for not knowing them. I look them up when it's pertinent. But you wouldn't get a bottle of wine for that, would you? But nevertheless, you give because you want to give to the Lord, because you want to help somebody else, you want to make a
Yeah.
difference, because you've got a heart for the people that the Lord cares about, not because
Hmm.
you're going to get back.
Yeah. And again, it picks up again, what we were talking about last week with Bartholomew. Jesus was speaking about the reward in heaven that he gives. There were the two things: sit on the throne, join with him at the heavenly banquet. That surely should be, if you're wanting reward, if that's your motivation, surely there is no greater reward than that. To know you're going to have
Mm.
a place at the heavenly banquet, not that you're going to be repaid with some earthly three-course roast meal, but you're going to have a heavenly banquet.
Yeah, and it says here in verse 14, you will be repaid at the resurrection of the
Yeah,
righteous. And I got a JC Rail. Do you got a JC Rail? Got a JC
go on
Rail.
then. Well, we've had
Do you
Dale
think?
Ralph Davis, we've had Bock, we better have Ryle.
Yeah, well, it's a nice one just about reflecting on just that last line, really, about the resurrection of the righteous. He says, there is a resurrection after death. Let this never be forgotten. The life that we live here in the flesh is not all. The visible world around us is not the only world with which we have to do. All is not over when the last breath is drawn, and men and women are carried to their long home in the grave. The trumpet shall one day sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible. All that in the grave shall hear Christ's voice and come forth. They that have done good to the resurrection of life, they that have done evil to the resurrection of damnation. This is one of the great foundation truths of the Christian religion. Let us cling to it firmly and never let it go. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's about living now in the light of eternity, isn't it?
yeah, 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 because we know we're going to be there.
Because Jesus has promised, not because
Yeah,
we think we're good enough or because we've done enough good deeds. Without Jesus, we can't do anything. That's what he says himself. Apart from me, you can do nothing.
yeah,
Well, what we do with Jesus, because of Jesus and the power of his spirit, don't we? Is it based
yeah,
on his promises, that eternity?
yeah. Brilliant. Are you preaching on Sunday?
Oh, will be. Yeah. I haven't got a Sunday off now for, don't know, but I won't actually be preaching in this though because we've got a family service. So we
Uh-huh.
decided not to do this as the main theme. We're doing the prodigal son instead,
Righty-ho.
which we thought would be pretty good because we can talk. Hopefully, if people come, then they can hear that message of you're welcome back. The Father's arms are open. But for the church people who maybe are a bit like, oh, we're not sure we want this family service, moan, moan, moan,
Yeah.
there'll be a bit of a message there in the elder brother. So,
Good. Well, good luck. Enjoy it.
and you, assume you're preaching on it, are you?
I am. I am. I don't know where. I'd have to have my diary in front of me.
Oh,
But I
you got
will
your
be.
holly bobs between now and then, haven't you? So
Yeah. Yeah. All being well.
I'll
Well,
enjoy.
enjoy your family service.
Thank you.
Ta-da.
Bye.
Bye.